Okay guys, I'm going to put a splice in the end of this line. I'm going to put a loop, about a 3-inch loop in the end of this, so we can put on the this is the main halyard, and we're going to put this little thing right here. So when it's done, we're going to have it look like this, but all of this line will be tucked inside here, and it'll be hidden, and it'll be a nice strong splice, splice I think is what it's called. But anyway, so we've got a big long screwdriver that we'll use to tug on it here after a while. We got a 1/2-inch fid, scissors, marking pen, and a little knife. These fids, this is the first time I've used these. The other ones I had were aluminum, and I did a splice just before this one. It was a little more difficult with these, but I'll see what I can do with that and make it work. So anyway, I'm gonna start here in a second and see what I can come up with. Okay, the first thing we do is for marking, and we get to put a full fid length, which is the full length there, and then we'll put a mark, and it's going to be like right about there. Put a couple little black dots on there just so you can see it later. And then we got that. And now we're going to need to see what size of an eye we're going to need on the end of it. So we'll take it, and then we'll make a loop. See, there's our fid length right there. And we're going to make a splice. We'll make an eye about like that. So we'll make, because it'll be a little bit smaller once I get done with it. So we'll put a mark right there, right across from our other one, so we'll be right here. All right, so we got those marks right there. So okay, that's how big of an eye we're going to have at the end of it, and eventually we'll have all of this tucked inside of here. So now we got to do some more measuring, and I'll be right back. Okay, after we've made the mark for our eyes, how big we want the eye, we gotta measure out 5 of the fid lengths. So there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And at the end of 5, we're gonna make a knot here, and it'll have a loop in it so I can hook onto the cleat later and milk everything back inside itself. So hang on, let me get that. Hang on just a second. So that's all I did. I just highlighted that, so later I can hook this on the end of on the cleat over here, like on that thing there, and that cleat, and then I'll be able to pull on that and get it all milked back in later. So anyway, well, that's what we did there, and now we're getting ready for the next step. Okay, so what we've done now is that was the first fid length we did. Then we did the size of the loop to here. And what we're going to do here is dig in there with our fid and pull the core out from this end. So we'll pull all the core out from here to here just in a second. As I was digging around, you can see the core starting to come out right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can't get it the rest of the way out. Okay, you can see I got a good start of it here, and we're going to see if we can't pull it out the rest of the way. I don't know if I can do this. Hold on. There it goes. Come right out. See? Got all that out. I'm going to put some tape around this little end right here. When you milk it, you're going to pull. I don't know if I can do that or not. But what you're trying to do is you're holding the core, and then you're milking. You're pulling all the way out. And you pull it down that way. And then you can, shit, this ain't working very well. But you know, after you've milked it passed down that way, and then you're just pulling this down, and you're pulling the core this way and milking that down, and then once you straighten it all back out after you've done it a few times, now you can see where the core is. Probably it's 4 or 5 inches longer than the jacket now, so, or the cover part. Anyway, so now we go on to the next step. Okay, the next step is you get on the cover part, and you go down and see when we made our very first fid length mark on the cover, we go down about 1 inch, and then we're gonna make this whole thing tapered. So we're gonna take out, like, there's like 3 strands here, and then we'll go down about 1 inch and take 3 more, and then 3 more, and then 3 more, and 3 more, and it'll just be kind of like a big long taper. Because whenever you put this back into itself over here, then if you don't taper it, it just kind of goes like solid and then stop. Big sharp deal. We want a nice long taper, so that's what we're getting ready to do. So I'll show you that here. So after I've pulled them out, you can see I would go down and took a few out here and there, and they're just kind of everywhere. So now I'm going to trim all of them off with the scissors, and then it'll have a nice long taper when it goes in. Hold on. Okay, so you can see it's nice and fat here. They just kind of gets more and more narrow all the way down to the end. Okay, here we are getting ready to put the cover inside of the core here for a second. But here's where, if you're going to put a solid circle in, see, like they got this deal here, there's no way to after the loop is in, take this apart and put it through the loop. So you have to build the loop on this as you're doing it. So that's what we're getting ready to do now. So we'll go ahead and put it on here, and then we're going to go take our fid. So there's our first mark a while ago where it come out. Then we did the short fid length. Well, after the short fid length all the way down to the 1.5 mark that we did, we're going to insert the 1/2 inch fid. And what it'll look like is once we're doing it, it's gonna oh shit, I can't do it. Hold on. Hold on, I'll show you in a second. Pushing it in, it looks like this here. So we're going to keep on pushing all the way till it comes out the end right there. Okay, you can see here our fid went in at that mark, the short fid length mark, and it went all the way, and you can see our black marks here. That was the 1.5 length fid length. So now we're sticking out. Now we're getting ready to put this. We'll go into the end of the fid here, and then we'll pull it, and it'll go inside the core and come out here, and then we'll tie a knot here in just a second. Hold on. I can't hold the phone and do this at the same time. I don't have a stand. So anyway, I'll show you in a minute. Pulling it, you can see it coming through. It's coming and coming through. This plywood's kind of not real smooth, so it kind of catches and stuff. So anyway, so now you can see we've got the start of a loop. So that's why we had to put the whatever this thing is called, some kind of witcher hook thing. Anyway, have to put it on there now, because once we got this going through here, then eventually we'll take the core and put it back in here, and then that's when we'll milk it all down and pull it all in. But that's a couple of steps, so hang on. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take our fid, our 1/2 inch fid. This is not the 1/2 inch fid. This is the 1/2 inch fid. I may have to use that smaller one because this is pretty tight inside here. These are metric actually, so they're not 1/2 inch ones. So I know it's close, but it seems to be a little tight here when I tried to get it in there. So anyway, we're going to go in here where the first mark we made on the cover, which was a full fid length, and then I'm going to push it. This will be inside the cover, come out, and it's going to come out about the short fid length, which is 2 to 3 inches out past the Y where everything comes out here. So anyway, so in a minute this will be poking in out there, and then we'll put the tail back on here. We'll be putting that on there, and then that's when I will pull it all through, and then it'll come out right about there in a minute. So hold on. Okay, you can see we got the fid started in there, and it's about right about here right now. I'm gonna go a little bit more. I can only go so far, or the fid all disappears in there, but we're gonna get a little bit more, and then we'll put this tail in there, and then we'll pull the core all the way down through and out right about here. Okay, now you can see we got it all bunched up on there where the end of it is there. We got the tail going in, and we got the very little tip of it coming out here, a little short fid length or so out of the cover there. So now we're going to, it will take 2 hands. I don't have a stand for my phone. I'm going to get one or something. Anyway, so that's where it's going to come out right here in a minute. Okay, you see we're getting it going. We got it still going in the cover back here. All that's going inside there. Still going in. We're still trying to get that out of there. That is really tight, so that takes a little longer. But anyway, we'll get it here in a second. Okay, I think we got most of it through now, so it should just coming on through. Son of a bitch, it fell off, so we got to redo it. Okay, well, that took a lot longer than I expected. I am not impressed with these vids. They are from, where's the company name? Oh, here it is, right here. SELMA. These ones right here. I am not a fan of these. They are the stainless steel ones from Sweden. The other ones I had on my boat are aluminum, and they're all round, and they don't have, like, everything's always catching right here, and these ends they just, on the other ones it's just one long tube and it's a point like that, but it's all the way around. So anyway, not a fan of these. They suck. Anyway, so I got it through here finally, and I got it milked out and everything. And what I'm going to do is mark it right here. Then I'm going to pull the core out from there, and I'll cut it off and put a little 45 on the fan, and then I'll milk it back up in there. Okay, I marked it there where it came out of there a second ago. So what I'm going to do is pull it on out, and then I will cut that off and make a little 45. You'll see here in a second. You see I cut it off on that mark, and I fanned it out a little bit, and I'm just going to chop those off at like a 45, so it won't be a sharp drop off here in a second. See that tail of the core is cut off, and I trimmed off like that, like about a 45. So then you just put this stuff away. My little pile of shavings over there. And now I think we're going to milk this back in here. Hang on just a second. Okay, so we got that all tucked in there. That's kind of crap because them fids kept catching, and that wasn't worth the crap. But anyway, so we got that, and then we the knot we tied in the cover a while ago, I've undone that. I'm going to take the tape off, and then we're going to fan that out and cut that like a 45 as well. Here we go. Fan that out, kind of cut that at somewhat of a 45 there. I just held it right here and then milked that down until that cover just went right inside there. So it's inside there now. Now what we're going to do is take this loop that we've got here. I'm going to put it on the cleat over there, and then I'll be able to milk this hole ever so carefully. I'll gently just start milking this away, and this whole core will just start disappearing, and we'll end up with that little eye that will just fit around that thing right, this little jigger. So anyway, all this will be all the way, all of this is going to go inside here. So just a second. So you can see I got it hooked on over there with the deal. It goes all the way up here, and eventually all of this core stuff here will be pulled in to there, and we will make a nice little loop with the cover there. So they say that a lot of people make a mistake and just start milking that up here, and then you end up with a big wad of stuff up here. So we're just going to kind of ever so gently pull it, and you can see it starting to see how it's going in there right now. And I'm just pulling here, and it's disappearing inside and it'll go for a little ways, and then it'll stop, and then that's when you have to start milking. You don't milk before that, or you end up with a big wad of crap here at the end, and you have to start all over. So anyway, you can see that little deal there. That fid jacked that up, so it's not very cool. Anyway, so now I'm going to have to start milking it, and then see how loose this core is up here. You can just see how loose. Well, I don't know if I can do that or not. Let me try. You can see the core is just how it just slides on that right now. I'm just going to start milking it a little bit at a time, and all this will still, as I milk it, that will disappear down inside there. Just grab a little bit more. You can see it starting to slit up in there a little bit more. Got about 4 more inches there. And you start grabbing at the end and milking it down. And then more is going to go up in there. A A little bit more's in there. So now I'm going to take the big screwdriver that I have. What do I do with it? Oh, it's down here. Take this big screwdriver and I'll stick it through the loop like this. Then I can pull and milk at the same time and it'll all go up in there. So I'll do that. Okay. You can see now that I've milked that all the way down to here, and I've had to, you slam it real hard with a screwdriver to finish up getting it tucked down in there. So I've done all that, and I'll show you the final results. So you can see our eye splice is going right in there, and all the core and all that. Not the most, this is probably the ugliest splice I've ever done. Of course, this is the one I videoed. But anyway, so you can tell the core, you can feel down here, and it's about right about in there somewhere. You can feel the taper, so it's probably 16 inches, maybe 18, something like that. But anyway, so I'm not sure if Topher's going to want to whip that or not, but yeah, I mean, it'll hold forever. So anyway, that's why you do it, and that's how you get that loop in there, and it don't come off. So there's my eye splice, and just so you know, I didn't do this from memory. There's a video I watch on the YouTube that it tells you how to do it, and it's, if I can do it, anybody can do it. It's really quite simple. Just all you need is the correct fids, and those aren't it. But anyway, that's all for now. All right, for today's chores, see how it's kind of, I've been trying to dig out that part right there. When on Heavy May, I removed the whole wood. I took this whole wooden cap rail off. I mean, I unbolted these, had to unbolt this, had to unbolt this whole track, and it goes the whole length of the boat, if you can tell. It goes all the way to the bow and back underneath the back, all the way to the very back. So when I say I took it all off, it was a big job, both sides, and it was bedded before with stuff called dolphinite, and it's kind of a, I don't know, thick, kind of a putty kind of stuff. But Topher had when he first got his, he said that in an emergency, he just kind of had to stick some butyl tape in here because it was really leaking in pretty bad. So anyway, we're not taking off the cap rail yet. We may do it later on down the road, but for now we're just trying to dig out some of this old previous owner kind of put some caulking kind of stuff in here. But you know, this is where Topher put that stuff in just to stop the leaks. So anyway, we're kind of dig it all out, all the old stuff, and with a screwdriver and a broken Allen wrench, and kind of dig it out with that little thing. And anyway, we'll get some out and then we'll see how that's going. So this is kind of what I've been doing. I'm just trying to score it with the screwdriver, score the edges of it, and then I can kind of dig it. And then I'll take this, and then I'll just kind of try to get it dug out with this little thing like that. But it's kind of hard to do with one hand, so I'll do some and then I'll show you. So you can see I got it started with the screwdriver, and then kind of dig little chunks of it like that out of there. So it's not like a permanent solution to the problem. The permanent deal is to take it all off. And I even underneath here, there's where the deck meets the hull joint, that it was like 5,200 and then through bolted with 1/4 bolts every 6 inches or so all the way down the hull top rail and everything, and it made a little joint. And so I dug it all out, and then when I got on mine, I went ahead and I put a 2-inch, I filled it with thickened epoxy, and to make it kind of a smooth transition between the deck joint and the hull. and I went ahead and put a 2-inch wide strip of fiberglass along that with the thickened epoxy, and then kind of painted over it, not painted, but with wet epoxy and thin epoxy. And so I did that on the whole joints all the way around, so it definitely doesn't leak. But when I put the cap rail back on, I did use Dolphinite again, and I have stopped all the leaks 100% on my boat. So it works, but it's just a big job. So, you know, if it ever leaks again, I may just permanently glass over that thing and build it up and make it nice and smooth and just do away with the wood. But for now, that's what I've got, and hopefully mine will last a long time. Okay, you can see we got it going pretty good here. Got this big old long tail coming out of that. I'm just scoring it pretty good with a putty knife here. Just going all that way in there. Getting into there pretty good. I'll go through after a while and get a piece of sandpaper and sand it all out a little good, and then I'll wipe it out with that Total Boat de-waxer surface prep stuff, and then I'm gonna let it dry because it appears to be a little damp in there. So we'll go ahead and let that dry probably today, and then tomorrow I'll probably go back in there with some stuff and clean it all, because I still got to go all the way down the side there. That part's gonna be a pain in the ass, but we'll get it. Anyway, that's what we got so far. See how we're digging that out like that. Sometimes it just pulls. That way Topher says, "Are you getting it all out of there?" And I say, "Hell yeah, I'm getting it all out of there." Getting that. So that shows you exactly how much I'm getting out of there. So guys, that is all the stuff we got dug out of the crack from there all the way around. And I'm gonna sweep it out here in a second. I'm gonna let it dry all the way down to the back. I'm gonna vacuum it out, let it dry, and then I'll sand it. Then I'll wipe it all out. And then with that Total Boat de-waxer surface prep stuff, then I'll tape it off, and then I will put in some of that 3M 4000 stuff for the kind of caulk it up, hope it'll last for a while. And after I've dug it out with the screwdriver and such, then I'll just take the end of this little wire brush and go along and trying to knock any other little bitty loose pieces that didn't come out. Knocks a little bit more of the loose stuff out, and then I'll sand it. And then after I've done cleaned it up from that, and then when I say sand it, I mean I'm just taking this sandpaper and I'm getting that down in the I just fold it up and I stick it down in the groove and just kind of give it a little sand. Nothing crazy. I don't want to cut into the jug cord or anything too bad. I just kind of knock off any little edges or something in there. But I can do a lot better job with 2 hands. I just wanted to give you an idea of what I do with the sandpaper. Just kind of fold it over and stick it in the crack and just go back and forth a few times just to make sure it didn't leave any loose pieces. Okay. A while ago I forgot to, I got busy and I just forgot to video the taping of it up and everything, and then caulk. You can't really tape and caulk at the same time. But anyway, it come out pretty good. A lot better than that last shit that was on there. So anyway, all the way back through there. Not bad. Hopefully it'll keep the water out for now.